Hey, Vanessa.
Okay. Are we gonna start the meeting now, or do you want to wait a few more minutes, Catherine?
It looks like everyone's turning their cameras on. I know some people are, I know somebody is in the car, so they might not be able to. Let's just wait another 30 seconds. And while we're waiting, do you mind giving me screen sharing capabilities?
Sorry about this, but I'm currently at wrestling practice, so I'm not gonna have my camera on either.
That's understandable. So glad you could join. Okay, someone else said they can't. Okay. I can't find them. Can you send it to me? All right. All right, it's Matthew. Oh, Olivia's meeting with Chief Scory right now, so she's looking for the link. Right. Can anyone send Olivia the link to this meeting?
I sent an email last night, and I think she was on it. I could have missed her. I'm not sure.
Okay. I think she's on her phone. I'll just copy it. I'm just not as, this is gonna take me longer than it would take one of you. Okay, I think Olivia will be joining. We can get started, Vanessa.
Okay. Do you have the screen sharing capabilities? Because I'm not sure how that works.
You're gonna have to enable screen sharing. So you claimed host, correct?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna claim host. Let me just go back to, why don't you start the meeting with attendance and everything, and I'll claim host and take over screen sharing capabilities. I just have to find the host password.
Okay, that sounds good. So, welcome to today's Youth Council meeting on December 21st, 2022. It is currently 5:04 p.m. and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Okay, so I'm going to take attendance and just come off mute and say here when you hear your name. Ahmed Othman. Ahmed here.
Sorry, I am here.
Okay. Aliyah Tui.
Here.
I don't think Allah's here, right? Allah's not here. Dhruvi Manu.
Here.
Elizabeth Menjivar.
Here.
Juliana Spalding.
Here.
Madeline Naper.
Here.
I don't think Matt O'Brien is here. Maya Pollock.
Here.
Olivia Wall's coming later, I believe. Paige is out. Sadie Lomnack.
Here.
Sophia Panaghetti.
Here.
And Thomas Baronato. No Thomas. Okay. Public comment. Is there anyone wishing to speak from the public? No. Okay. We will move on to item 4, approval of minute meetings. So I know on the agenda, we wrote November 9th and December 12th, but I think we still had some issues with recording from November 9th. So I believe we're going to skip over that for now and just move straight to December 12th. So Ali, do you have the update on the minutes?
Yes, I do. So to overview what happened at our last meeting. So the meeting was called into order at 11:45 a.m. And we first had a debrief of our late cleanup where we laid out what occurred during the event and how we could increase turnout for next year. We also talked about communication with David Mangan about the fundraising done for the event. Juliana then gave an update on her liaison with Safe Streets, talking about bike and pedestrian safety. We discussed having outreach on encouraging people to shovel their sidewalks through writing a press release and making a social media poster. Vanessa then gave an update on her liaison with the Council on Aging, talking about having a job opportunities board in conjunction with the senior center, having veterans come to the high school to speak with history classes, and having volunteer staff Council on Aging events. Ahmed Othman then gave an update on his work with Kevin Fontanella from the school committee about reworking the role of student representatives. And then we discussed promotion of the Snow Angels program through social media, press releases, and through Wakefield Patch. I then overviewed the next communication subcommittee meeting, and we talked about the Meet the Members posts and my upcoming presentation on social media and my meeting with Jen McDonald. And before adjourning, we quickly touched upon Youth Council clothing, and Catherine said that she would be providing updates in the near future on this. So does anyone have any questions? All right, and I just want to say before I hand it back over to Vanessa, if you're ever not able to come to a meeting, the meeting minutes are posted on the town website under the meeting minutes column on the Youth Council page, if you ever want to take a look. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also on that note, if you are absent and you know that you're going to be, just shoot me or Catherine a text or email, just letting us know if you can. And all of our meetings are posted online on the WCAT YouTube, so you can always look there to just get caught up. So do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, I'm just gonna go down the list now. Ahmed Othman. We can come back to him. Aliyah Tui,
Yes.
Juviet Mani,
Yes.
Elizabeth Menjivar,
Yes.
Juliana Spalding,
Yes.
Madeline Naper,
Yes.
Maya Pollock,
Yes.
Sadie Lomnack,
Yes.
and I think that's it. Okay. So moving on, we have the youth action team here having a presentation on later school start times. So I think Catherine is gonna pull up a recording from Alexis Manzi.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we have we have the Youth Action Team advisor here, Amy Chivarati, and Sienna Catazzoni, who is a Youth Action Team member who has been working on this project. But the lead person who has been taking this on is Alexis Manzi. She could not be here tonight, but she pre-recorded her presentation, and then Amy and Sienna are here for questions after the presentation. So I am going to share my screen, and hopefully this works with the sound. So it might be coming from my own computer, so I'll stay really silent. Here we go. Can everyone see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation. Okay, now I'm going to hit play. Keep the thumbs up if you can hear it.
Hello everyone, this is my presentation about why we should have later school start times for the high school. There are many pros and cons of later school start times, but I am here today to show the statistics about why we need later start times for the high school. All these statistics I am about to list are approved and looked at by pediatric specialists and sleep medicine organizations around the country. Some common health risks associated with lack of sleep are being overweight, drinking alcohol, smoking, and using drugs. Adolescents who do not get enough sleep are more likely to disengage in daily physical activity, suffer from depression, engage in risky behaviors, use drugs, smoke, drink alcohol, as well as perform poorly in school. Some statistics that support later start times are that there was a study conducted on students in many different states, and their school start time was pushed back later. As of these school start times were pushed back, graduation rates went from 77% to 88% in these schools. Another statistic is that as kids become teenagers, their melatonin release starts to happen later at night and does not go away till later in the morning. This means that teens do not feel they need to go to sleep till later at night and their body needs more time to rest in the morning. Another statistic is that in 2016, the schools in Seattle, Washington changed their school start times to later, and this change showed a 34-minute average increase in student sleep. Even though 34 minutes does not seem like a lot of time, it still had a positive impact on teen learning. Some schools in our district have also started pushing their school start times later, and these schools include Melrose, which pushed their school start time back to 8:15 a couple years ago. Some more statistics about later school start times are that the American Academy of Sleep Medicine reports that teens should get at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep per day. When kids do not get the right amount of sleep, they perform poorly in school. Another experiment that was conducted by an organization that was called Project Citizen was an amazing success when they started to push school start times back almost an hour. Nauset Regional High School in Massachusetts shifted their school start times later and found that there were major decreases in failing grades, tardiness, and suspensions. One last statistic is that California was the first state to push all school start times back past 8:30, and this change showed an increase in sleep, better grades, and decrease in teen car crashes. I'd like to emphasize teen car crashes were decreased when these start times were pushed back later. As we know, many students at Wakefield High School drive their cars to school. So if we pushed our school start time later, then teen car crashes would be less likely to happen during the busy rush hour getting to school. So the overall pros of starting school later are that many kids stay up very late doing homework, so having a school start time gives them more chance to get more sleep or finish up some homework in the morning if they have some. Having more time in the morning to get ready lets kids have more quality time with their parents. When kids have to go to school any earlier than 8 in the morning, they are half asleep. Many parent journaling experts say that their kids are not even awake during the car ride to school since they get very little sleep. Having a later start time will prevent kids from being asleep during their first period class. When kids have later start times, they have more time to get themselves ready, eat a good breakfast, take their dog for a walk, etc. These pros especially apply to METCO kids in our system since they have to wake up so early in the morning for their bus. Having a later start time would let them get a reasonable amount of sleep. Some challenges that need support from the district with this pushback of later start times is that if the school start times are pushed back much later, then that creates a problem for parents who need childcare. Their middle school and high school children will be going to school at very different times. This causes issues with getting each kid to school, but all elementary schools offer before school programs which can help with childcare issues. This pushback on later school start times could also create a busing issue because many schools could not afford many buses when these school start times were pushed back later. This is forcing many students out of the opportunity to take the bus to school, but many schools in the Middlesex region have pushed their start times later and have had no issues with buses getting to the school. I have talked directly with the woman who fought for later school start times in Melrose, and she succeeded. And she explained to me that by moving school start times till later, the busing budget will be less in the long run. Later school start times also means later end times of school. This can be an issue since many kids have sports, clubs, jobs, siblings to take care of after school. But even if we push the school start time back by 45 minutes, it will not affect the time school ends by much at all. Kids will still be able to attend their extracurricular activities. Studies even show that kids who are more well rested can recover from sports injuries like concussions faster than kids who do not get the full 8 hours of sleep. I made 2 surveys for students in the town of Wakefield and then another survey for students from other towns who already have later school start times. Here are the results of these surveys. Wakefield student responses. Students were asked, would you rather have a later school start time? 93% of student surveys said that they would rather have a later school start time. When asked, what would your ideal later school start time be? 53% of students responded that they would want an 8 o'clock start time. And when asked what pros and cons would there be of a later school start time, the most common pros mentioned were that people could sleep in and that they would have more time to do homework they did not finish the night before. And one challenge listed was that school sports would have to start later. And from my survey for students from other towns, students were asked, do you like your later school start time? 100% of students responded yes. What time does your school start? The majority of students who took the survey started at 8:15. And what pros and cons are there of having later school start times? One pro that all students listed was that they got to sleep in, and one con listed is that they got out of school later than other schools. Recommendations. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends start times for middle and high school students should be no earlier than 8:30. But even if we moved our start time to 8:05 or 8:15, it would impact the teens in the high school positively. Overall, we need later school start times because students' mental health will improve, students will get better grades, there will be less student car accidents, and many schools in the Middlesex League start their school day much later than Wakefield's. Here are the list of the school start times of the other schools in our region. We are one of 5 schools in the Middlesex League that start school before 8 a.m. and Belmont is currently fighting for a later school start time as well. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you all enjoyed.
Okay, so Vanessa, do you want to open it up for questions for Amy and Sienna?
Yeah, definitely. Does anyone have any questions for Sienna and Amy?
Yes, I do have a question. So, what would be the plan if we were to move school start times later? What would be like general like ballpark for the start time and the end time? I know that in the presentation, some times mentioned were 8 o'clock and 8:15. So if those were enacted, what would be like the general time that that school would end if those were enacted?
So I'm kind of new to this project, but I have talked to Alexis a bit. And I think so we would be focused on trying to get it to be 8:15. And then I think, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but would it be 2:45? It would end?
So I think that would be something that the school committee and the teachers union would have to agree upon. So this would go into a lot of negotiations. As the youth action team, we are just presenting the idea that we want later start times. The teachers union, the school committee, all of those organizations would have to be involved for the logistics. But my guess is that the hours that you were in school will still be the same. So whatever that is, just bump it up a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a quick question. Like, what would the process be like if this gets approved? Like, how long would we actually see this come into action?
So I think when youth action team, we talked about definitely like next year, maybe even in the spring. The spring is kind of like, I think, no, not at all. Oh, my bad.
No, so the teachers contract has the schedule in it as part of their contract, and their contract is through the rest of this school year. So there'd be no changes definitely this year. In an ideal world, we could get it approved for their next contract, but there are a lot of moving parts. So
I wouldn't make any promises that it could happen in September. Ideally, yes, but there are a lot of things that would have to happen. So it may be a little while longer.
Madeline, did you have a question too?
Yeah, is this something that we would do as like on kind of a trial basis, like try it for a few months and then see if people are liking it, or something we would do for a year or permanently?
I don't think we've really like fully discussed that part. I mean, I'm not sure, but I think like with anything, like we used to do Learn Anywhere, it would probably be there would definitely be a trial involved, but how long, that probably wouldn't be our decision. That would probably be based on the school and what they think is right.
I think our hope is that it's permanent. And if you guys wanted to look at any of the research, I have a lot of it. Alexis has a lot of it. It's really hard to argue with the science that says how great and how much better this is for young people. So it's a process of getting that information out to everyone. And then usually once they hear that information, people are in agreement that it should change permanently. But again, the teachers union, the school committee, all those people have to be involved.
I know you spoke about this a little bit in the presentation, but do you think if we were to shift the time of the high school like start time, do you think that would also affect like the middle school or the elementary schools?
I think it definitely would. I think there's definitely like the school would have to figure out like if they were how much later, but it would probably push everyone back a little bit.
Go ahead, Amy.
Sorry. Typically when schools have done this, they've done it one of two ways, I think. One is that they push everyone back, and the other way is that they flip-flop them. So elementary would start at the time that high school starts now. Those are the two options most communities have used. So I don't know what Wakefield would choose.
Any
Catherine,
other
were you gonna say
questions?
something?
No, I just wanted to say that since we looked at that slide that Alexis posted, and there were actually a couple that have moved their start times back since that slide. So Reading Public Schools now starts later as well. So I think, like you said, so we're one of the last 2 or 3 in the Middlesex League that hasn't moved start times back based on the science and research out there.
Yeah, and I believe Belmont and Wilmington, even though they haven't yet, they have committees that are in the process of doing it.
So Vanessa and Counselor Chines, I know the idea was for the youth council to come on, or the youth action team to come on and present this information. You have already gotten an endorsement from the Wakefield Board of Health, is that correct? In favor of this. So the youth action team presented to the Board of Health, got an endorsement in favor of it. And is that what you're looking for from the youth council, an endorsement?
Yes, we would love their endorsement if possible.
So this is a logistics question. Counselor Chines, would they take a vote now, or should we pass along all of the information and wait to vote at the next meeting?
So it's really up to the discretion of the chair as to whether or not you'd want to take a vote. Given that you do have a few people missing, you may want to kind of hold a decision on the endorsement until the next meeting, just so that anyone who isn't here today but has an opportunity to watch the video and maybe think of other questions has the chance to vote at the next meeting, which I don't know exactly when that is. I'm assuming, well, obviously it's after the first of the year, but I don't know if it's early in January or if that's on the calendar yet.
Yeah, I believe the next half day is January 11th. So I think that will be our next meeting. So if we are able to post Alexis's video, maybe we can send it out and have the people who weren't here watch it.
Yeah, and if there's any supporting documentation that Alexis and Sienna have that can provide even more information to the whole youth council. So if people want to consider more information.
I can definitely ask. Alexis has most of the access to the stuff, but I can ask her about it. And if there is more, I can send it to either you, Catherine, or Amy, and you guys can send it out.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I think we'll hold off on voting for right now, just so that we have more people at our next meeting.
Vanessa, I'm just wondering, is there any other information that would would be important for you to know as youth council members before to form your decision?
I don't know. Does anyone else have any comments or questions for them? Madeline?
Is there a spot where, and I think that you guys were just touching on this, where we can find a lot of the kind of like research to back it? Or I think that this is what you guys were just talking about.
I have a lot of that information. I'm happy to, is there like a email address you guys use, or how would you like me to, what's the best way for me to get that to you?
I'll give you Vanessa's email and you
Okay.
can put it all in one kind of supporting document, and then
I will tell you that there's like a 10-minute TED Talk that kind of wraps all of the research up. So it's a good place to start if you're interested. And then, because some of the research is a little dense to read through, but I will certainly send it all along.
Great question, Madeline.
Yeah, it would be great if you could send those like links and resources along with Alexis's video, and I can send it out to the rest of the council. I was kind of wondering, like, what are your like next steps in this process of getting this approved?
So Alexis and I are and hopefully Sienna are meeting with Dr. Lyons on January 5th. I think it's right when we get back from break, and we'll present this to him. It would be great if we had your endorsement, but we, if you guys want to wait till your next meeting, we get that. And then we'll answer any questions he has. And then our hope is that we then bring it to the school board, the school committee.
Okay, thank you so much. Were there any other comments or questions? I just want to make sure we get everyone. Maya?
I was wondering if there was like anything we could do like independently with our liaisons to try to like push and like send the message out.
Yeah, because
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You
oh
go.
no, I was just gonna say because I'm also the liaison to media and communications. So if we wanted to do some outreach with this, I could definitely help with that.
I'm sure we definitely will have something that you guys could like post, or you could repost through like Instagram. Like we're always having stuff we post on Instagram, and you like if you want it, a great way to do that would be like reposting it, and we can reach out to you guys about that. But I'm sure we'll have something coming soon.
Yeah, I think we want to go in the right order so that we're not posting it, blasting it on social media before we talk to all the right people. But when we get to that step, we would definitely love your help in this with all your liaisons. That's a great idea, Maya.
Yeah, and the other thing you could consider is, maybe if it's something that the youth council votes on, maybe they want to co-sponsor and a youth council person comes and presents as well. If it's something that the youth council finds that they're committed to. It is a school policy, not a town policy, so that would probably be the school liaison person that would co-present.
Yeah, I believe Ahmed is the liaison to the school committee, or
Yes, he is.
Or yeah,
Yep.
okay. So maybe he could go with you guys in the future to do a presentation or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I know Ala is liaison with the health department because this is really a health issue. That's why it's coming from the youth action team, because it really is looking at teens' health and safety. That's who drove the research and everything, was the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Was there anything else before youth action team leaves? I don't want to miss anyone.
Sophia's got her hand up.
Sophia.
I was just wondering, I know we talked about this earlier. Do you have any ideas for other schools, like what the middle school and elementary school start times will be?
Not yet, no. Like I said, some schools bump it up a little bit for everybody, and some schools swap it so that elementary would now start at 7:30 instead of 8:45, and high school would start at 8:45, that type of thing. We've seen schools do it both ways, but the nice thing about Wakefield is that there's an hour block between middle school and elementary school start times right now, because elementary starts at 8:45 and middle starts at 7:45. So I think whoever makes the decision about how the schedule will go will have some room to play with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think that's all the questions.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, and definitely reach out to Alexis. We really enjoyed her presentation, and
let her know.
definitely send us the link.
Will
Also, if
do.
anyone has any questions, you can if you text me, email me. If you see me at school, some of you I do track with you, come up to me at track. And if anything comes up.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. In that case, we will be moving on to our next item, which is a liaison spotlight for the Council on Aging, which is my liaison. So I went to the meeting that was, I think, last Wednesday, so a week ago, and there wasn't enough members on the meeting for a quorum, so they weren't able to do too much. And I spoke a little bit about the Snow Angel initiative, but I don't want to jump into that just yet since that's another item on our list. But just as a reminder, they have a lot of great volunteer opportunities, so I'll be sure to let you guys know about those. And they're always looking forward for like youth to get involved. And then we also spoke about the job opportunities page at our last meeting. So I'm hoping to maybe in the future talk more to them about that and kind of get the ball moving with that. But I think the Snow Angels initiative is the biggest project between us two right now, and I'll go in further detail in the next item. But for now, we can move on to our next liaison spotlight for the Safe Streets Working Group for Juliana.
Okay, I don't really have any real updates because we haven't had a meeting since our last youth council meeting, but the Safe Streets Working Group did make an appearance at the last town council meeting, just kind of promoting the bike paths and pedestrian walkways for North Ave. So we're making little steps.
And Juliana, I did want to follow up with the shoveling initiative that was discussed in the last youth council meeting about encouraging people to shovel their sidewalks, and that it's that because a lot of times it's youth that end up in the street and it creates a dangerous situation. You all brought that up. So we sent an email to Joe Conway, the head of DPW, Aaron Kokinda and our communications director. So they're working. They had already been thinking and talking about this. So I think the youth council was the kind of the last piece to really say we need to get communications out there about that. So they're gonna send some information along to you just to be able to share on social media and everything.
Okay, I can add that into the poster. I'm still working on it.
Great. She did you see the emails, Juliana, going around? I
Were
think
they
you were.
from John?
No, a different set of emails with those folks on it. I'll forward you so you kind of have it at the top of your email.
Okay, thank you.
And Madeline and I have access to the Instagram, and I think me and Ali have access to the Facebook. So you can definitely contact us and we can help get some things up and posted if you need any help with social media. At the meeting that you spoke at, what were like the ideas for accessibility, and like what were you guys talking about?
We were just talking about having, I'm not quite sure of the exact measurements, but having like a 6 foot wide sidewalk and then I think a 4 foot wide bike path with either a paint barrier, which isn't ideal, or a little elevated cement or asphalt barrier to separate the pedestrian / bike traffic and vehicular traffic.
And where in Wakefield would this be? Would it be like around the lake or?
This would be on Main Street around the lake. Sorry, on North Ave around the lake. And I think it'd be in downtown on North Ave too.
Okay, sounds good. Another point maybe that you could mention to them was like, I know that they're starting to think about like building for the high school. Have they like spoke to maybe like the designers or builders on like what they would want for like the high school if we are like in the works of getting like a new building, like maybe the sidewalks and the bike routes and all that stuff would be important to add into it?
We have talked about the sidewalks on the part of Nahant Street closer to the high school, and also some crosswalks and the new road plans. I heard rumors of a traffic circle being put in on the Farm Street and Nahant Street intersection, but don't quote me on that. So we've been talking about it, but I'm not sure if they've reached out to anyone.
Okay, Mr. Chines, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, just to expand upon that a little bit, and thank you, Juliana, for speaking at the last town council meeting about the North Ave work and for being an advocate for that. With regard to the high school specifically, there are really sort of two pieces of work that are happening. So one is that we have appropriated money to improve sidewalk access in some of the streets around the high school, specifically Nahant Street, as well as a handful of other roads in town. I can't remember off the top of my head what there were, I think about 8 projects that we had approved. I can't remember specifically what they were, but Nahant Street definitely was one of them. We are looking, Juliana referenced a traffic circle. We're also looking as part of the high school project potentially to realign Hemlock Road so that it meets Nahant at basically a cleaner 4-way intersection, and then redesigning that intersection, whether it's a traffic circle or something else, so that we have both sort of traffic calming features, but also better pedestrian access. Whether that happens as part of the high school project or not is still a little bit up in the air. And the reason for that is because Hemlock Road is actually owned by the state, not by the town. And so there's some work that we've got to do just to figure out and to get sort of the state's buy-in to potentially doing something else there. But hopefully, hopefully we'll be able to make some progress in that area as well, because I know we all probably experience on a daily basis some of the challenges around the high school.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it can definitely get dicey over there around like school start and end times. Juliana, was there anything else you wanted to mention before we move on?
No, that's it.
Okay. For the next item, I think Ali had a short little presentation for his liaison.
Yes, thank you, Vanessa. So I'll be giving a presentation on my meeting with Jen McDonald that I had last month about how we can better our social media. So a big takeaway that from the beginning from the meeting was that we don't post very often at all, and we're practically a quote unquote dormant account with regards to our Facebook and Instagram accounts. This is because so when dormancy occurs, it just means that we have either we're either not posting like at all, or we're not posting very often or irregularly. So Jen recommended that we begin posting 2 to 3 times a week so that we can be in line with the algorithms of Instagram and Facebook, and people will start seeing our announcements more. And she also highlighted that some of these posts don't need to be entirely from the youth council or something or a project that we're doing. They can be reposting or promoting something that another town board did that we would like to promote to our followers. And in regards to, and she also talked about with regards to specific posts, it's important to make sure that we're following certain guidelines set by the towns and others that will be helping, that will be helpful to getting our message out. For example, Jen brought up one of our posts where we had posted a flyer, but the caption did not describe the flyer. And she brought up that many people use screen readers if they're blind, cannot read, or if it's just easier for them. And when there is a caption that doesn't provide context about the flyer, the screen reader can't actually read the image. So it wouldn't provide them with context for the event. So it's important that when we're posting on social media, that we're writing everything in the caption as everything that's already included in any flyers or images. And with posting, there are other things that we can do as well to increase the presence that we have with our posts, such as tagging other organizations that we're working with for our events or we're promoting. For example, with the Veterans Day cleanup post that we did, we could have tagged the Warrior Cleanup Crew and Youth Action Team because they were our co-sponsors for the event. And she also talked about general town rules that we have to continue following with posting on social media. Most notably that we cannot delete comments or block accounts because we're official town social media organizations. Even if someone is saying rude or harsh things, we can't delete them, but we can choose to ignore them. In regards to like more serious things like threats, those are handled differently. But yeah, that's what she said in regards to that. And then we also talked about some other ways outside of social media that we can promote our events, such as through the community calendar on the town websites page. So if you go to the town website on the homepage, you can see the community calendar with upcoming public events. After my meeting with her, I had used that resource to promote the Veterans Day cleanup event. So for future, like if we have a specific date and time event, we can also utilize that for promoting our events. And then other promotional things that we can use are she brought up using the WCAT in between programming, which is played at WCAT and at the Brothers Restaurant in downtown Wakefield, where in between the WCAT segments, they will show just promotional stuff, flyers that we could send them. And she also brought up the parameters for sending this for sending a flyer like this, which would have to be a widescreen picture. And we also talked about using Patch, which was used for our Snow Angels, promotion, and manually posting things like hard copy flyers at the kiosks around town, like the one at the lake. And we can also do that at the schools as well. And then in regards to the 2 to 3 times a week posting, we spoke about the best way to do this would be having a posting calendar for the communications and outreach subcommittee. And so Madeline can, with Madeline posting these, So unfortunately, due to open meeting law, we cannot collaborate on a Google Doc or another form of this. But however, Jen said that it would be legal for one of us, for just one of us to run a calendar to post things that would be viewable by the other members, but could not be editable. And that way we could start regularly posting on social media and meet the 2 to 3 week schedule to meet the algorithms. So then some takeaways, some takeaways for and next steps following this that I would like to enact in regards to the communications and outreach and social media would be managing the Facebook, creating a posting calendar and getting into the habit of regular posting through that posting calendar and growing our following base through the town. And hopefully by the next communications and outreach subcommittee meeting, we'll be able to have some goals in mind on how to really grow our following from what we currently have. And then just some ideas to increase our posting before we start doing the posting calendar. It can be simple as starting to post our meetings again, which we have not done in some time, which if you go to Instagram and Facebook, some of our more older posts, you can see that we have our meetings posted for people to see. We can also utilize our link tree more. I recently went in and cleaned up some of the stuff that was there that was outdated. And we can also promote our youth interest survey and get the administration to send it out at schools to have students, if they're interested in seeing an issue taken on by the youth council, we could have the administration send out the youth interest survey. And we can also just generally revamp the Instagram to refocus away from some of our older initiatives and more towards recent ones like Snow Angels. And I know Madeline has spoken about this with me, linking the Facebook with Instagram. And Madeline, I'll be sending you an article that Jen sent me about how to do this. And generally just linking them so that it's like in line with so that way the two social media accounts are in line, because Instagram is generally used for our youth following base, and then Facebook is used for our adult following base so that they can talk to the youth. And yeah, and just some other future posting materials that we could do are the shoveling sidewalks, utilizing the job opportunities, and we just talked about this, just reposting or communicating about later school start times once they're available for us to do that. So that's my presentation. Thank you. And hopefully a lot of these recommendations that Jen made will be enacted in the near future. So I'll be definitely going in deeper during the communications outreach subcommittee meetings to start getting this in progress. So does anyone have any questions or comments or something that they think that could help to grow the social media itself?
I think these are all great points, and definitely like Madeline's very into the outreach too, and I know she does a lot for that. So Madeline's definitely a great resource that we have. You know, we've been focusing on maybe changing some old passwords and information, and we've been working on that. And reposting things is great. I noticed that when we posted the Snow Angels flyer on our Facebook, a few people reposted it around the town, which helped us get a bigger audience, especially an older audience too, that could inspire some like younger kids to maybe volunteer, or maybe they know people who need their like know a few seniors who might need some assistance. So I think those are definitely good points. I didn't even think about the accessibility for people who might have some impairments, who might need some assistance. Madeline, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I thought that there were a lot of different points that you touched on that were really interesting, and I'm definitely going to take a lot of them into consideration now with posting. Something else that I kind of wanted to bring up, and this may be more a topic for the communications and outreach subcommittee meeting, the next one, but utilizing Reels, because I know that that's a big thing that Instagram has been prioritizing with the algorithm. But if anyone has any ideas as to what kinds of reels we could be posting, because for those of you that don't know, reels are just shorter videos that we would post, or I think that they can be like up to like an hour long, I think. And just, I think that that's something that we should definitely look into posting. I don't think that we have any posted at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely something to take into consideration. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Right. But before I hand it back to Vanessa, I just wanted to double check with you, Mr. Chines. So I believe that Jen said it would be legal if one of us were to do a posting calendar where we would edit it and then someone else would take it on to post it. That would be fine as long as like multiple people were not editing it, correct?
Yeah, so this would be a posting calendar externally or internally for the youth council.
I believe that this would be internal, but it would only be
Okay.
by one person.
Yeah, that's completely fine. I mean, you know, the things that you need to do just to organize yourselves and get, you know, sort of like your meetings and your work organized doesn't need to happen in a public meeting. I mean, there's a certain amount of logistical work that you guys can do in, you know, in a setting like that.
All right, thank you.
That's a great question, Counselor Chines, because we're right now getting ready to launch Snow Angels, and it takes, and Juliana knows from last year, it takes a lot of logistical, there are Google Maps involved and matching youth with, you know, but should we still have those planning if we're trying to work out logistics, say it's 2 youth council meetings, counselor members and myself, do we need to put those?
No, I would say if it's 2 youth council members and yourself, I mean, I think first of all, that's not a majority of the youth
You're
council,
right,
so you're not triggering the open meeting law issue. You know, but also, I mean, you know, because it's not a majority, I mean, you're not making substantive decisions around what the youth council is supporting or doing or not doing. It's really logistics. So that is something that you absolutely are able to do.
Okay.
And Ollie, just for I'm not sure for the new members, have you invited them to the communications subgroup and send out emails to them? Because I want to make sure that they have the opportunity to join our meetings.
Yes, thank you for reminding me for that. I forgot to do that. So I will be sending just an introductory email to the new members. Thank you for reminding me about that. If any of you are interested in joining the communications outreach subcommittee and helping us with our social media and general outreach programs. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. And even if you're an old member, you can feel free to join and reach out to Ali, and all of the agendas and meetings and everything, same as these meetings, are all posted on the official like town website. So you can always find the agenda and hop on the meeting. So feel free to join. And one more point that I want to make quickly was to help that algorithm, kind of what Ali was saying. Madeline has started posting on our Instagram for the Meet the Members. I know she was unfortunately sick this past week, but I think she's back up and running with those Meet the Members posts. So we should be seeing more of them. And if you haven't sent her your little like blurb of information from the last meeting, the little piece of paper or your photo, please do that as soon as possible, and you can send it to Madeline. I believe her phone number is in the remind if you scroll back up, and I can resend it too.
Or you can send it to me and I can forward it to Madeline.
Mm-hmm. And yesterday, I also sent a contact list. You should have got it in your email. I hope everyone got it. If your contact information that I put in and Catherine put in is incorrect, feel free to change it. But if you ever need to get into contact with anyone in the youth council, I hope that is a good resource that can help us communicate. So I hope everyone got that. This past weekend, I think we had the Veterans REITs across America. Dhruvi, did you want to touch upon that?
Yes, so David Mungan, I couldn't make it because I had something, but what he did is he went to the cemeteries and laid wreaths upon veterans who had passed away. And this took around like 30 minutes. I emailed him and I'm gonna run by his office this Friday for the half day and talk to him more about it. And he said that if I want to release some kind of like forum or anything that can maybe get other people to help, because we might do this again for another matter, Memorial Day. So if I could maybe email people and they wanted to help, I could give them Mr. David Mungan's contact, like information, time, and stuff like that lies along the lines of that.
Yeah, that sounds good. And that would also be a great idea for a post on our social media. Madeline?
Yeah, I did want to apologize. I was supposed to post about that. But like Vanessa said, I had the flu all of last week, so I wasn't checking my email and posting and doing stuff like I meant to be doing. But that's definitely something that I would like to post about if that ends up happening again, for sure.
Yeah, no worries at all. You're all good. Um, just like a little reminder to maybe check in with your liaison if you haven't yet or haven't in a while. Maybe like go to one of their meetings, and also all their meetings should be posted again on like the WCAT YouTube, so you can always check them out there and just make sure that you're staying in contact with your liaisons. Catherine, did you have something to add?
Yeah, sorry. So I just get Olivia, you noticed, just had to step out. But she will give her a liaison update at the next meeting because she had rehearsal, but she has been working with the police department and just had a meeting with the chief of police. So she has an exciting update. So that'll be at the next meeting.
Okay, that sounds good. Definitely remind me to add that into the agenda for next time, Catherine. Okay, we'll move on to the next item for the Snow Angels project. Just a quick update on everything that has happened between our last meeting and this. We've mostly worked on outreach. So just as a recap, Juliana led this initiative last year. We've kind of all taken it on again this year. So I'm the liaison for the Council on Aging this year. So we've put out the flyers. Ali and I just said it was mostly Ali, wrote a little blurb for the Wakefield daily item. I don't know if it was put out yet. I haven't seen it. I know I was talking to Catherine about this yesterday, but we did send it out to them, and I think Catherine might have resent it.
Yeah, has anyone seen it in the paper yet? No, okay.
No.
I'm gonna follow up with them again.
Yeah, so we'll check back on that. But Ali and I definitely sent it out and wrote a little something for the paper. I know Catherine was working on getting the flyer on the digital boards at the library, civic center, the town, like just like around the town. And then Ali worked on having them announce it over the school announcements in the morning. And I think Dhruvi also did that at the middle school. Were you successful in that, Dhruvi?
Yes, I emailed the people in charge of the morning announcements, Miss Webb and Mr. Tetrod, about Ellie's email. So yes.
And have you heard over the announcements yet?
I haven't gotten an email back, and I'm waiting, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Tetrod and Miss Webb are working on it right now.
Okay, that sounds good. Definitely, like if they don't respond within, a certain amount of time, maybe check back and make sure they saw your email. And then Madeline has been working on posting it on our Instagram, and I posted it on our Facebook. So we're definitely doing good on outreach. And Ali also posted it on Patch. And then also Catherine, I think, is going to be connecting the seniors with the volunteers tomorrow with her interns. So kind of getting the more logistics of that. So on to our next item for communications. Ali, is there any updates? Oh, is Ali here? I think he might have popped off. Madeline, do you know if there's any updates?
Unfortunately, I was sick during the last meeting, so I wasn't able to make it. But I think that I believe he may have given that presentation at the last meeting. I may be mistaken. And I believe he said that he touched on just the posting the meeting, meet the members posts, which I now I'm finishing up making them right now, and they're all getting posted within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, yeah, I think that sounds good. I think he was going to do the presentation, but he decided doing it today so that more people could hear it. So in that case, we'll move on to announcements. Mr. Chines, are there any updates from town council that we should know about?
Sure. So happy to report that this morning the Massachusetts School Building Authority had their board meeting, and one of the items that they were considering was approval of the Wakefield High School building project, which they did unanimously approve for funding by the state agency. So that was great news, and kind of the end point of a great deal of work on both the design and kind of the vision for what we're hoping to build. So as a next step, what will happen is that there will be a special town meeting followed by a special election for the town to approve our share of the funding of the project. And the town council is meeting tomorrow at noon, basically to set the dates of those two events, the special election and the special town meeting. I expect that the special town meeting will take place at the end of January, and the election will be in early March, probably both on Saturdays. So a lot more discussion coming up about the high school, and certainly a lot of public education around the project as those two things come forward. I would remind everyone sort of in the youth council and everyone at the high school that, if you are over 18, you are able and registered to vote, you are able to participate both in town meeting and the town election. So I don't think anyone on right now is over 18, other than obviously Catherine and I. But certainly for anyone who is, that's something to keep in mind. The other piece of good news is that the Mass School Building Authority also did vote to increase the funding cap for the project. So the state actually will be paying a portion of the cost of the new high school. And that cost is subject to a certain cap on construction costs that the state applies. But construction costs, even though that cap has been in the same place for a few years, construction costs have escalated pretty significantly. And so one of the things that the School Building Authority did this morning is they voted to increase their cap, which effectively means that Wakefield will get, we think, we still have to do the final math, but we think about $9 million of additional state funds to support the school. So that was good news as well. Other than that, from a town council standpoint, I think I mentioned the last time I was on where we're getting into budget season. So starting at our first meeting in January, we'll be starting to go through budget proposals from each of the town departments, vetting those out, voting on them, and ultimately kind of putting together the budget that will go to the regular town meeting in May for approval. So that's what we've got going on, other than some of the updates that Juliana gave around safe streets and sidewalk access earlier.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for hopefully getting a new high school, even though we won't be able to be in it. it's definitely looking interesting. I've seen a few pictures and stuff for the layouts.
I will say some of your middle school members may be able to spend some time at the new high school. So
Yeah, that's true. It's
those
only
of you
gonna
who are
be
at the high
rough
school right
under
now, probably
construction.
not, but
Yeah. Okay, so for a few shout outs and announcements, one, if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, Commutas is looking for student volunteers. They're a nonprofit organization that delivers individualized, family-centered services, programs, and support for people of all abilities across their lifespan and in their communities. They support and uplift people of all abilities, and they have family support, residential services, daycare services, and recreational programs to over 1,000 families. Another person or organization looking for student volunteers is the Wakefield Human Rights Commission. You can definitely reach out to their chair, Eileen Rooney, and I can help connect you. They have a lot of great events coming up on Monday, January 16th at 10 a.m. They're having a celebration for MLK and Coretta Scott King Day at the Galvin Middle School. So definitely that's open for the public, and it should last an hour and a half. Were there any other updates or upcoming events that we should know about? No? Okay.
So sorry to interrupt, but I have to hop off. My
Yeah,
apologies
no
for the
worries.
late response.
Okay, for item 12, determining the next meeting. Our next half day is on Wednesday, January 11th, so I believe that will be the next meeting. Do we have any other issues that haven't been discussed yet? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
I motion.
Do I have a second?
I motion.
Okay, I'm just gonna go down the list and bear with me because I know a few people had to hop on and off. Ahmed Offman. I don't know. If
Yes.
he's still on. Okay. Ali, I think left. Olive's not here. Dhruvi Manu.
Yes.
Elizabeth Menjivar.
Yes.
Madeline Naper.
Yes.
Maya Pollock.
Yes.
Sadie Lomnack.
Yes.
And Sophia Penighetti.
Yes.
Okay, so I will see you guys at the next meeting. Thank you for hanging in there. I know we had a lot on our agenda today, so thank you guys for staying for the full meeting. You know, it was a lot.
thank you. Happy
Okay.
holidays, everyone, and enjoy
Bye.
your breaks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, see you in January, everyone.